Microsoft was planning to be at South by Southwest. They were hosting a developer event, and they wanted a video game to put into an arcade.
I super need to kick someone! Oh my god, me too! Let's totally do it!
Bored to Death is based on a web video called Marshmallow People. It's a twisted, demented little film, but hilarious. And we said, man, this deserves a cool game.
The object of this game is to keep your marshmallow from becoming bored to death. They need to do awful things all the time, otherwise they kind of lose their life and just turn into normal, everyday marshmallows.
Tried to come up with characters that I felt fit within the Marshmallow world and kept the style of the Marshmallow characters.
The narwhal, he was really kind of Eeyore, like, oh, stop. I am the weird little creatures that are being tortured.
We knew that there was this otter that plays a pretty integral role in the Marshmallow People videos, and we knew that we wanted to include it somehow. Somebody just yelled out it should be otter destruction.
And then we were like, oh, what if he did some kind of like giant laser beam? Well, it can't just be any laser beam. It's got to be like a rainbow laser beam. It can't just be like a laser beam. It's got to be more like a laser beam barf kind of thing.
So the otter destruction became this kind of Godzilla-like creature that comes out of nowhere and blasts everything into oblivion.
The game was a ton of fun to build. We used a variety of libraries to bring it together. We used Impact to provide a lot of the gameplay and game management.
They have a little square around them. It's called a hitbox. When their hitbox overlaps with one of the enemy's hitboxes and the player hits a button, we play an animation that comes from a sprite sheet that actually shows the punch or kick. And then if the two are overlapped, then we know that they've hit the enemy, and then we do all the different actions that need to happen after that, showing scores above their heads, sliding the enemy back, and playing the hit sound effects.
But then for the HUD and even some of the animation in the game, we relied on Grant Skinner's Create.js.
Typically, for hardware support, you want to keep your sprite sheets fairly small, so like under, say 16 megapixels for desktop. And on this project, when I came in, I took a look at some of the images, and you guys were pushing like, I think 25 megapixel sprite sheets at Internet Explorer, and it was running just fine.
The other browsers, when auto destruction comes on, it's actually a little bit of auto destruction to how they perform. With all the JavaScript libraries and engines out there, pretty much what you imagine can become a reality so quickly. We developed the actual game in probably 2 weeks.
The arcade machine literally had a Windows machine inside of it that had an Ethernet cord plugged into it. And we just went straight to the live URL, pulled the site up, and blew it up full screen. One might not think that you could power an arcade machine with a web page.
But I think now, anything that you can imagine can be done in HTML5.
We really didn't run into any issues with being able to use large sprite sheets or being able to render things to screen and keep up with what all was going on in the game.
And that's something that Internet Explorer does really well. You can throw a lot on screen and it will not choke.
I'm so bored!
Even with cake, I feel nothing.
Marshmallow People kind of punch like this.
I'm so bored!
That's horrible. I have awful impressions.
That's just a little warning to people playing. Don't eat the cake.
It's just one of those games that you just want to keep pumping quarters into, and now this one's on the web.